It is also important to understand the benefits available to the surviving families of our fallen. The Public Safety Officers Benefit Program, PSOB, has provided important benefits to the survivors of firefighters and other public safety officers killed in the line of duty since 1976. The program, based at the United States Department of Justice, gives a monetary award, currently set at $360,000, directly to the survivors of the fallen firefighter. The program also contains provision for firefighters that are severely disabled and educational benefits for the children and spouses of fallen firefighters. Your IFF was there for the start of this important program, and we have been central to a number of PSOB program expansions that have improved the benefits provided by PSOB. We continue to seek ways to improve access to PSOB for diseases and situations not currently covered by the law. In fact, since our last symposium, we have been successful in adding coverage for those who have died from post-9/11 related illnesses. In addition to advocacy, the IFF provides assistance to families, locals, and the fire departments with the completion of the PSOB application process. Firefighters in Canada are also provided with a benefit similar to PSOB. Here to discuss the progress to establish and improve this program is Canadian Scott Marks, Assistant to the General President for Canadian Operations. Scott began working with the IFF in 2010 after a 28-year career with the Toronto Fire Services. During his career in Toronto, Scott also served in various positions in the Toronto Local 113, including 4 terms as local president. Please welcome Scott Marks.
Okay. Thank you. The Public Safety Officer Compensation Benefit is a relatively new establishment in Canada, although we were lobbying for it since the inception of our legislative agenda in the early 90s. The first Canadian Legislative Conference was held in 1991, and lobbying for the Public Safety Officer compensation was part of our lobbying efforts at that time. Over the next 20 years, we had some variety of responses from the governments in place at the time, both Liberal and Conservative. A few times we thought we were going to have some success, but at the end of the day, ultimately most of the governments utilized a jurisdictional issue to say that they had no jurisdiction over municipal employees or the provincial, and it was clearly under provincial responsibility. However, in 2012, we really had a breakthrough with our local out of Regina, Saskatchewan. They had a good relationship with Member of Parliament Ralph Goodale, who was a Liberal Member of Parliament at that time. The Conservatives were in power, but Ralph Goodale was able to bring forward a private member's bill to the Parliament in 2012, and that called for the establishment of a public safety officer's compensation benefit for first responders. The problem with the private member's bill in Canada is they are non-binding and they cannot spend money on behalf of the government. However, as an important first step at establishing the will of the House, it was a critical bill to come forward. We worked with the Regina local and Ralph Goodale on the wording of the bill, but what we really needed was support from some Conservative members of Parliament at that time. They held the majority of the Parliament, and without getting some votes from Conservative members of Parliament, we could not get this private member's bill passed. We had the support of all of the Liberal members of Parliament, all of the NDP members of Parliament, but we needed about a dozen Conservative members of Parliament to get it through. One of our locals out of Barrie, Ontario, had a great relationship with their local member of Parliament who was a Conservative. They had worked with him from the time when he was a council member in Barrie, and they had established a great working relationship, including charity hockey games. His name was Patrick Brown. He was a member of Parliament for the Conservatives. Patrick was able to rally some of his Conservative counterparts, and when it came to the vote in the House of Parliament we were able to get 18 Conservative votes, and the private member's bill passed. As I said, it was non-binding on the government at the time, and the Conservatives did not act on the bill. But what it established was a will of the House, the fact that the Parliament had supported the establishment of that bill. More importantly, it cemented our relationship with Ralph Goodale and the Liberal Party for the upcoming election in 2015. In March 2015, the Liberals were trailing badly in the polls heading into the fall election. Justin Trudeau had been elected leader of the Liberal Party for about a year, but they were, as I said, trailing badly in the polls. We, through the help of Local 18, Vancouver, we were able to get a meeting with Justin Trudeau and a number of the candidates who would be running for the Liberals in Vancouver. That meeting proved to be extremely important, as we were, Ralph Goodale also attended that, and we were able to get a commitment from the leader at that time, Justin Trudeau, and Ralph Goodale, that they would establish the public safety officer compensation benefit if they were elected in 2015. In the fall of 2015, the Liberal fortunes changed substantially, and they were swept into power with a majority government. On top of that, Ralph Goodale was put in place as the Minister of Public Safety. He was a well-respected, long-standing Liberal member of Parliament. Now, Prime Minister Trudeau wrote the mandate letter to the Minister of Public Safety, telling him in that mandate letter that over this term, he wanted the Public Safety Minister to establish a public safety officer benefit for emergency responders. That became known as the Memorial Grant Program, and it came into effect as of April 1st, 2018. It was announced in the 2017 budget that as of April 1st, 2018, it would be funded. We had a roundtable meeting in 2016 to establish amongst all of the emergency responder groups how that process would work. We were all the stakeholders were present at that meeting, and we were able to present to all of them and Minister Goodale how we saw the program being administered. And we knew that jurisdictional issues had been their major concern, and what we put forward was that the program should utilize provincial workers' compensation establishment of line of duty death to set the criteria for when the memorial grant would be paid out. And the government reestablished it, or established it, and called it the Memorial Grant Program, and it came into effect, as I said, on April 1st, 2018. The beneficiary determination was set out by the government. It's not really surprising. Obviously, the spouse or common law partner is the first beneficiary. If there is no surviving spouse or common law partner, it goes down to surviving children. If no surviving children, to surviving parents, right down to brothers and sisters, and finally to the estate of the deceased. The current status is, as I said, is that if it is recognized at the provincial level as a line of duty death, as a work-related death, it is, the family is entitled to the benefit. That means that all occupational cancers, occupational diseases are being covered by this benefit, including, it's not restricted to active firefighters. We have retired firefighters that die of an occupational cancer 5-10 years after retirement that are being covered under this benefit. The grant is tax-free, and since its inception in April 1st, 2018, in 16 months, over 47 IFF families have been paid out through this memorial grant for a total of over $14 million to IFF families. It's been a tremendous achievement with the help of our locals, with the work that was done, and certainly with the work and the relationship we have had with the Liberal government under Justin Trudeau in Canada. In addition to the Memorial Grant, we have seen this government also establish $30 million towards the study and research of post-traumatic stress injuries, again established out of the Regina and the riding of Minister of Public Safety Ralph Goodale. The University of Regina is taking the lead on this program. We have been a key stakeholder and included in all of that, the discussions with the University of Regina and the program that's being established into the research and setting up a national strategy to deal with occupational stress injuries and post-traumatic stress. So it's been a tremendous achievement, certainly for the IFF, and it was established through the hard work of our locals and the commitment to our national legislative program. And I think 25 years to get this, but we never gave up. The locals never gave up. They maintained that relationship with their members of parliament, and it's an important lesson to all of us that getting into the political arena and working hard and establishing those relationships with our members of parliament, with all our politicians, make the difference. Thank you.